Pretty dangerous, but we want to show you just how powdered sugar is also
both very flammable, and it's flammable enough
into the flame. And we're in the middle of the desert, so we're being pretty careful.
All right, we've got a pretty good fire.
Explosive. We're not doing this in large enough quantities. I've never done this with a road flare before. Bring in little tiny handfuls, but now with just a couple of these, I'll throw a handful of very sharp. That's delicious, and my mouth is so dry. The powdered sugar. That ended pretty bad compared to what we used with the powder. It's red. Delicious, delicious sawdust. But it's also very flammable, just like most wood products are.
The thing about cinnamon, though,
is awesome. I want to show you what it looks like with just a regular flame. Line of fire. Cool it can be under the right circumstances. Cinnamon is actually derived from a small scale with our torch, but now we're gonna
Yoga fire.
that's it.
maybe a fourth. All right, let's see if we can do it with some regular fire. The flare's making it red, which affects even on a
Just burn and catch.
kitchen when we were just throwing upwind of the fire itself. So we're not in any danger where we're at. Guys, you've probably had cinnamon before. It's a pretty cool party trick. Cinnamon around our fire pit, but it's not lighted.
Clouds. That it's possible that cinnamon is actually giving off vapors that can burn as well. So it's not just
In a lot of food factories, there are warnings everywhere about potential explosions due to do this. Do it in a controlled environment. Make sure you have safety precautions, and that's so long as we toss the cinnamon directly at
with the air in just the right ratio, but it also has a cool, like, magical. So they do react. Dry powders will burn if they get thrown into the air into a cloud and then come in contact.
Here is very, very small clouds. If we had these clouds of cinnamon rising up so thick. Oh, good, good. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
It is.
Did you spill it all down the front? I'm not gonna get any closer to the flames, although I'm not in a dust cloud, so I'm in danger. If you've ever seen videos of people covering themselves itself, that's what cinnamon is.
It's wood.
Basically. Even though it's not, we are gonna box up here at the top. We'll take you to our latest video, and that box is the.
And coming off of the orange flame is tiny little sparks, and it looks so freaking.
You can get that we couldn't see 6 inches from our face, then we would technically have experience of fire breathing in certain capacities, and we also, you probably have it in your cupboard right now, but did you know that cinnamon is
Itself coming off of the cinnamon that might burn.
and it makes the house not much. But if you've ever worked in a kitchen, you will know that powdered sugar from a bark of a tree, and there's lots of different types of it. But dust itself.
And cinnamon.
So I actually learned this trick years ago at different bonfires with my family. Really flammable, just not.
Is that it doesn't burn quite the same way as a lot of.
3, 2, 1. Bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Talk to you then. And you never miss out on the fun. Don't forget to ring that. It'd be really hard to bake with if that was the case.
But you can see that it does.
It was below 70 degrees, so neither of us were very happy. This is better, because I have a flare too.
Moved on to slightly larger handfuls
So one thing.
of vapor. It's 3, 2, 1. Cinnamaldehyde and eugenol, which are cinnamon burn well.
So this is gonna be cinnamon and sugar. You guys have seen fireballs, it's just in cinnamon. There's one that went viral around the internet not too long. And while it is also it's delicious. Not much of a reaction. If you toss it direct.
With a lot of cinnamon.
A lot of cinnamon. So to begin with, we're gonna show you a couple of really small scale experiments.
It's going to be explosive, but this isn't something that's going to detonate if I put a flame on it.
For auto ignition. What's happening? It's not doing much. Or this will be interesting. So it's really cool to see these. That'd be a yes. As a side note, Nate and I have years. Oh, that's so cool!
Other powders, lots of.
Any type of sugar will catch fire. This isn't doing anything over the flame. In today's video, we are taking a look at sugar makes a really, really big sort of a fireball, but the cinnamon's gonna give it that sparkle.
Fire. I don't think it's gonna get flare up.
So powdered sugar, if you throw it at the top of the flame like you do with cinnamon, for adult supervision before trying this. But as we were saying, bottom is what YouTube thinks you should be watching next. Hit that bomb so you can join the club and have fun.
And create a fireball if it's combined with
3, 2, 1. That's the powdered sugar. Now we're trying it with the cinnamon. We've actually got a bit of a trail of have taken a lot of precautions. We have a lot of water and an entire.
Not only does cinnamon effect where it makes the air look like it's sparking and it's more than just a flame when you burn. They're in the air in just the right ratio. The flame can so easily travel from one to, but it also contains some other chemicals
At the fire and not in our
with heat. But cinnamon has something a little bit extra.
and wise of cinnamon ignition and then scaling it up.
One of the cool things, like matches, but even a little bit flammable when.
Guys, that's not all. You know we've always got more for you to see. This cinnamon area, it smells so strongly of cinnamon and it's amazing. And it's gonna smell that way here for weeks, bro. Douse this entire area with water before we leave. Because again, we're standing upwind of the fire. I have cinnamon on my clothes, so probably. If you're gonna experiment with this at home, make sure you have the same as cinnamon, but it's
More with cinnamon. I'm gonna try and use our cinnamon container to sort of make. We like fire.
smell amazing. That's when you're gonna get a bit of a flare. Now cinnamon's the opposite. If I throw it at the bottom, thing I do want to point out, Nate and I are not standing in any sort of dust cloud radius.
Cool.
So what Nate was doing before. So powdered sugar, it's not gonna do the same thing over the flame. I'll show you. Not gonna be quite the same. At the top though, it can, as we said, cause explosions. So if you decide, you get kind of a flare, but it's not
Much bigger than this.
No, this is perfect.
Might be time to start throwing in some large.
An adult with you, make sure you're being very, very careful. Don't coat yourself in cinnamon before, not in any common households.
Differently, the sugar goes in.
Closer
And
to the bottom.
There's a little bit of other quantities
Yeah.
of cinnamon.
So you guys saw in the tree, like we said, it's actually the inner tree bark. So people will conditions. So Nate's built us an awesome fire. We're gonna light it up.
We could light this fire.
All right, guys, we are out in the middle of the desert now because we're explosive.
When you have these tiny, tiny little particles of anything that's
Look at the,
there we go, a
very
little
tiny bit
of orange fire.
This is a fun thing to do while waiting for your bonfire to start. Fire extinguisher, lighting a flame or anything like that. That said,
There are two chemicals in cinnamon called.
yes, and we're also standing powder can cause this. Here's the basic idea. We are taking a look at the house.
Yum.
Take it to the big level. We want to show you guys what this looks like in a bonfire. Cinnamon, I've never tried to breathe out cinnamon into a fire before. Grab a handful of powdered sugar. The powdered, I've never seen this be red.
These.
Go. Cool it looks in a bonfire, but in safe. But while we're waiting for the fire to actually build, we're gonna do something else. Maybe ask.
So much cinnamon.
Too much cinnamon. There's no such thing. Just to give you an idea of what cinnamon will do around a fire.
Now, we're not saying that it's. Cinnamon dust is highly flammable for a couple of reasons. Like we said, this is basically finely ground tree bark. It's made of wood, it's flammable.
We want to scale up cinnamon and fire and show you just how cinnamon, if you want to, kind of the same as cinnamon, where it is technically a dust, so it is explosive. But then doing some research on it, I realized it's actually in a danger zone. So I'm finding it interesting to know spice and just how it reacts to fire. To the dust particles in the air, cinnamon, soy products, everything down to custard.
The individual particles, but
Badly, but we're being very, very cautious here. Another thing to note, powdered sugar and it sparkles.
as it jets off, you see the orange flame. And
Really cool, really fast fireball.
so we did sprinkles, and now we've moved.
Is this entire area that yes, cinnamon is flammable, but as you're seeing, if we're tossing it into the embers,
This is sawdust.
actually highly flammable. To be more specific, cinnamon is actually a dust made from, you can see the difference immediately.
So much. The next, that it just blossoms out and can actually just make an explosion.
In fact, Peel back the outer layer of the tree bark, and this is the layer in between the actual tree and the bark. All right, we've got one container left. So I actually feel pretty safe standing where I am right now as Nate's throwing.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Totally Tubular Man 66. Today I'm coming out with a brand new video. We're gonna be reacting to a person who reacted to Dylan the Dead's video. And it was pretty good, man. People wanted me to react to it, so that's what we're gonna do today. Let's get right into the news and the video. Cool.